you. Please make sure that you silence all mobile devices at this time. Again, if you're just joining us, please take your seats. We're about to begin. Thank you, good morning, and welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome co-founder and CEO, Mike Cannon-Brookes.
Welcome to the Atlassian Summit. Thank you for being here. It's amazing to be back with you in San Jose. Please don't forget to put your bracelets on if you want to be part of the fun a little bit later. Not that part. Now today, there are more than 3,600 of you here from 42 different countries. And we have an absolutely massive 2 days ahead. 128 sessions, more than 150 different speakers. And almost 400 Atlassians here for you. Now for myself and my Atlassian teammates, hearing your stories and sharing what we've been working on is what makes Summit our favorite week of the year. So please look for us in the dark gray t-shirts. I promise you they're all super friendly, they're a lot of fun, and they're here to help you. That's the entire reason they're here. Now, improving how your teams work is the singular idea on which Atlassian is focused. Our mission is both simple and ambitious, to unleash the potential of every team. And I can promise you that all those Atlassians and the 2,000 or more at home come to work every day to help your teams better accomplish their goals. Goals in almost 90,000 organizations that we are proud to call customers. That's hundreds of thousands of teams from all corners of the globe whose potential we're helping to unleash. We're so incredibly grateful to be a part of your team. So for me and all Atlassians, thank you for being a customer. Now, we can't achieve this mission alone. We attack it hand in hand with our partners. And those partners have just achieved a pretty fantastic milestone. A few weeks ago, we passed 3,000 apps in the Atlassian Marketplace. That's, all right. A few marketplace partners down here, super enthusiastic. That's 3,000 ways that you can extend Atlassian products to help your teams get more done. Now, those 3,000 apps come from over 1,000 different vendors, and more than 100 of whom are here today outside. So please, just like with the Atlassians, share your stories with them so that they can learn and help make more outstanding apps for you and your teams. Now, 90,000 organizations, millions of users. These are big, big numbers, but they're very abstract. If we think about what they represent for a second, they represent teams, they represent people, humans, all trying to get work done. We're all trying to work better than they were before. I want to share something pretty incredible with you from our Atlassian user group in Nairobi, Kenya. Now here, last year they are watching Summit live in the middle of the night. As you can see, it's a pretty full house. They sent us this footage someone snapped on their iPhone and zipped across the world. Now I have to say, seeing it for the first time for Scott and myself was a mind-blowing and humbling experience. When we started Atlassian 15 years ago, we never could have imagined the huge global community that we have today. And that Nairobi user group is organized by Michael Kamathi. Now, Michael has only had the opportunity to watch Summit from afar, and it's his dream to attend in person. So as you can imagine, I was super excited to meet him last night and hear his story in person. It's an incredible story. I encourage you to go talk to him as well. So among the 3,600 people and more here today, I want to give a special shout out to Michael down here in the front row. It is a truly, truly incredible story. Michael, thank you. Asante. Hope I got that right. My Swahili is very rusty. We appreciate everything you do, and we hope you take some of the Summit energy and passion all the way back to Kenya. Although having met you, I'm not sure it's as necessary. Now, Michael's one of the user group leaders. We now have user groups in more than 130 different cities around the world. And last year, they hosted over 400 user groups since the last Summit. That's one more than every 20 hours. So if we can bring the house lights up for a second, if you're a user group leader that gives up your own time, or a community champion, can we get you to stand up for a second so you can all get a little bit of recognition? Woo! Their passion and energy to bring Atlassian customers together to learn, the time they give up of their own nights and weekends is just awesome. It continues to motivate us year in year. So with that in mind, we're going to try something a little new and a little brave this year. A lot of their members hold Keynote watching parties, summit watching parties like we saw Michael's group down in Nairobi, and we get to live stream the Keynote into them. So this year, if everyone could cross their fingers to the technology gods, I see a lot of people in the front row crossing their fingers, we're going to try to bring them into the Keynote a little bit. So if we could bring up the live streams, we have Michael's user group here in Nairobi, evening. We have Amsterdam, and we have Brno in the Czech Republic. All right, that worked as well. I hope you enjoy the rest of the Keynote. That worked about as well as we could have expected. And we'll hear a little more about some of that technology later today. It's all running on our own stuff just because for extra challenge. Now, Scott spoke last night about an important belief we hold around teamwork. We believe that when work is open, the full potential of what teams can accomplish is made possible. I'd like to show you a short video to help bring that belief to life.
Openness. We don't really think about it. It's not something we can hold or touch, but it can touch us. An open door can make us feel welcome. An open road can take us to new places. When someone is an open book, we open up to them. And when we open our eyes, we see the beauty in everything. Open minds saw mold and imagined penicillin, turned blight into beauty, and tore down walls, opening hearts. Openness is what leads to people who wouldn't normally meet, solving problems they wouldn't normally solve, and shows us the bigger picture. It's the thing that unleashes the potential of every team. The reason we make everything we make, and do everything we do. Because we believe that for great things to happen, the world needs to be a little more open.
Now, openness is not a new idea at Atlassian. It's been in our DNA since the very beginning. Jira was built as an open project system to help bring down the walls, the silos in organizations to help technical and non-technical teams collaborate to track their projects. And Confluence was built to share content openly by default. You create an open page and you restrict it if you need to, rather than creating content that's only visible to you and then forcing you to have to share it afterwards. And these are both small but important examples of how openness pervades both our product design and our philosophy around teamwork. Now, you'll see how openness is baked into everything we do over the next 2 days, and even across the next 2 hours. You'll hear exciting product announcements across both server and cloud as we strive to continue to open up your work. We'll hear from the stories of champions who've opened up their organizations with our tools and our practices. And you'll hear more from Atlassian as a company, as a whole, around as we open up around major changes that we're making and our vision for the future. And lastly, you'll experience it here, right here today on this stage, as we open up the stage. The best way to experience our culture is through our people. So you're not going to hear it all from me. We're going to welcome a broad group of Atlassians so that they can tell you in their own words, in their own voices, what it is that they've been working on. Now, before I bring up Michael and Nikita to tell you about all of the latest with Trello, there's one thing we should probably talk about. This. So this was the original Atlassian logo, which I drew Macromedia Fireworks in 2002. And we did spend a lot of time thinking about its symbolism. So for those who don't know, Atlassian started as a technical support company. We provided customer support. And incredible customer service is a core part of our DNA. Now, I studied ancient Greek in high school and was always drawn to the story of Atlas, who provided one of the first examples of legendary customer service. So he held up the sky, theoretically so it wouldn't fall down and crush all of us. Now, internally, we refer to this logo as Charlie, designed on the symbol of Atlas. Now, Charlie went through a few rounds of surgery over the years. He bulked up a little bit. Unfortunately, he lost a part of his leg. It's tragic. And eventually, he found his true color. But as important of a belief as great customer service is and remains to Atlassian, Charlie didn't quite capture the mission we have around teams. As you can see, he stood alone. Now, our little company has evolved and expanded significantly since then. And I'm proud to say that our new identity really reflects the opportunity ahead. So this is the new Atlassian logo. It's a fulcrum for a broad and sweeping change across our brand, identity, and product experience, much of which will be revealed over the course of the next 2 days. Now, changing something is hard when you drew it. Changing something that so many people love is really hard. So we took this incredibly seriously. I can honestly say I love this new logo. There's so much symbolism in it that embodies the company that we're building. People immediately see lots of different things. 2 pillars reinforcing one another, reflecting support. Perhaps 2 heads leaning on one another, reflecting compassion. 2 sailboats racing against each other, reflecting competition, or the path up a mountain, reflecting challenge and adventure. And of course, people see a letter A reflecting Atlassian. Now, there are no wrong options here. There's lots of right ones. And I'm sure in time that you'll come to love it too. Give it a chance. People have been really, really great with their reception already. But it isn't just about one logo. We're also evolving our entire product identity system. As the family of Atlassian products has continued to grow over the past few years, it's important to have a product identity that reflects each product's unique characteristics, as well as their relationships as one family. But again, it's not just about logos. These changes are flowing all the way down into our products as part of an entire system. Here you can see some of the beautiful new design language that you'll hear a lot more about during the day. Now, our company has come so far in the last 15 years, and I couldn't be more excited about the 15 ahead of us. This is day 1 of our new identity, and I'm incredibly excited to share it with you. And I know there's a lot of Atlassian pride out there in the audience. So if you want to show it off, you can reach under your chairs and get one of these awesome decals for your laptop. That's under your chairs. There we go. Now, if you have one of those laptops with a glowing piece of fruit on it, you can change it for an awesome glowing new Atlassian logo. If you've got a regular old laptop, it just looks cool and white. If you want to go one step further, though, we actually have a tattoo booth out there on the show floor. I'm just kidding. But we do like to have a lot of fun with it. We're not a company that tries to hold our logo static, as you can see. So in true Atlassian fashion, we're breathing a lot of life and energy already into our new identity. So before I bring up Michael and Nikita to tell you about Trello's latest awesomeness, let me run a video that shows you some of that life that's already in the new logo. I'll see you a little bit later.
Good morning. So this is Trello's first US Summit ever. I even have my Summit first-timer pin right here. Man, I hope we don't blow this.
Yeah, me too.
So Mike was talking about how open work helps teams work better together. And that concept is behind the core of why we built Trello. Trello boards give you a place to get things in order and stay on top of who is doing what. When you know where you've been and where you're headed, and you have perspective, you never feel lost.
Really quickly, can we please bring up the house lights? So if you've actually used Trello before, please raise your hand. Thanks, Michael. So that's awesome. It looks like a lot of us have, and a few haven't. If you haven't, we're going to spend a few minutes going through what Trello is, and hopefully by the end of this talk, you'll be intrigued to check it out.
So if you've ever used sticky notes before to organize your thoughts or ideas, you actually understand the basic concept of Trello already. We call these notes cards because they can do so much more than a sticky note. And the front of cards are simple to keep the big idea in perspective, but on the back of cards, you can have conversations, add checklists, labels, attachments, and more. It's basically a superpowered sticky note. So we let you organize those cards into lists, and you group the lists together on a board however you want. And then you share that board with other people so everyone can stay in sync in real time and share perspective. So on the surface, it seems pretty simple. But that simplicity is what makes it so flexible and lets people use it in so many different ways. Trello is flexible enough to fit your whole life. And most of the apps that help you stay organized are highly specialized to one kind of task. Or they depend on a group of people committing to the same tool and climbing a steep learning curve. And that's awesome for one team at work or people in highly specialized roles. But if you want perspective on your whole life, there's a critical challenge. Every day, we all have multiple roles to play. So in the morning, you might start as the breakfast chef, then you're at work, you're a designer, and you come home and you're a soccer coach. Each time you switch roles, 3 key things change. The team changes, the apps you're using change, and the devices you have in front of you change. So Trello is designed to knock down the walls between those changes so that one tool can connect you to the new team's services and devices in each role.
Let's start with how Trello can help when your team changes. We tend to talk about teams in the context of our team at work, and while this is an important part of our daily lives, it's certainly not the only part. When we wake up in the morning, we are part of the tag team to get our kids dressed and ready for school. When we get to the office, we're part of the deployment team. After work, maybe we're part of a running club. We're in bands, poker clubs, which really means we're part of many teams at once. Whatever teams you're on, Trello's flexible enough to help. I'm going to spend a few minutes showing some real-world or real-life examples of how Trello can be used for all of your life's teams. My friends and I run a book club in New York City. Between any given session, there are about 10 and 15 of us. And in this kind of team, there's no boss, no one telling us what kind of system we have to use. But it's really important that we use something that's fun so that people stay engaged. Using Trello, we can create cards to choose themes for the year, suggest books, add photos. We can vote on what book we're going to read next or whose house we're likely to meet in. And this is really important. It saves us from the hassle of long email threads. So you're probably thinking, sure, it's great for a hobby, but can Trello really handle complex, serious collaborations, like a marriage? And we think it can. This is a real board from a couple we met a few weeks ago, Prithvi and Rudir, and they shared with us that they tended to keep track of their family and their house using emails, voicemails, text messages, and oftentimes things would just slip as they tend to.
I actually totally forgot a PTA meeting this week, and my wife had reminded me about it at least 10 times.
Did you have a Trello board?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So this happens to all of us. So a friend recommended Trello to them, and now they've been using it, and there's no looking back. They even told us that in many ways their marriage is powered by Trello because it runs the logistics.
So hopefully it's clear by now that Trello is awesome at helping you collaborate with friends and family. But we didn't forget your roles at work. So tens of thousands of businesses use Trello, from mom and pop shops using our business class product, all the way up to Fortune 500 companies on Trello Enterprise that benefit from SSO, provisioning, permissioning, and more enterprise features. Here's actually a work example from some people at Heroku that suggested this. Like many companies, you have new employees starting all the time, and you want to make sure they all get onboarded in a reliable way. So now, when a new person shows up on their first day, they just work through their Trello board, moving the tasks over to the done list. A new employee has a clear view on what needs to be done and who to collaborate with for all their core tasks and projects. Once you've built a board like this, you've got a repeatable workflow. You just copy it and reuse it again and again for each new employee.
Different teams use different tools, but Trello is a universal tool that can be used by virtually any team: sales, marketing, IT. So let's imagine that your product team is working on the release of a new application, and your marketing team is working on the public launch of this app. They're both using different boards. But the question is, how do we find the connections between them? We've just launched an awesome new feature that lets you do exactly that. Now, when your projects span multiple teams and boards, you can link them together. You simply add the related card or attach the related card to another card, and now you can see what's happening in the status on both of these cards in one place without having to move between boards. And if, like us, you happen to geek out on how other people get organized, we have tons of examples on our website at trello.com/inspiration.
Now, if you want something to be embraced by different teams for your roles throughout the day, it needs to respect their existing workflows and connect with their other tools. Ensuring that Trello makes that happen is actually super important to us. We want you to have the information you need right when you need it. So of course, Trello integrates tightly with all the Atlassian products you'd expect, like Jira and Confluence, but also tools like GitHub, Slack, Dropbox, Zapier, and many, many more. You can actually even build your own integration, your own private integration in just a few minutes, and tie Trello into your own internal systems. Now, bringing those other apps into Trello was actually just the start, because now we're going to extend out the platform and bring the awesomeness of Trello into your other tools. For example, here's Trello in Microsoft Teams. Here's Trello in the video conferencing tool appearing. Here's some Trello cards appearing in a Dropbox paper document. And here's a beautiful Confluence page with Trello cards and boards. So that same awesomeness is coming to tools like Quip and Envision. And actually, there's a bunch more to show you in the rest of the keynote, but the other speakers are going to cover that. So stay tuned, because we're really excited about it.
As you navigate through your day, the third thing that often changes is the device that you and your teams use. It's always been really important to us that Trello is available to everyone, everywhere, no matter where you are, and on any device. So we have Trello on the web, on mobile, on watch, on tablets, and we're continuously making improvements across all of these platforms. One of the problems that I'm sure all of us face is when we open our laptops on any given day, it looks something like this. Lots of browser windows and tabs, and it gets kind of messy and unorganized, and we need to find a way to keep it organized, but it's really hard. So we're making this easier, which is why we're super excited to announce today, for the first time anywhere, that we are launching the Trello desktop app. This has been a really long time coming. It's one of our most requested features, and we're excited to bring it to everyone, to Mac and Windows, free today. You can see new activity on your Trello board with desktop notifications, create cards from the new Quick Add window, and in true Trello style, you have dozens of shortcuts to many features like moving between starred boards. We're really excited about this, and we can't wait for your feedback.
So our friends, family, colleagues, they live all over the world. And we've built Trello to connect you to all these teams. So far, we've translated Trello into over 21 languages. There are people using Trello in almost every country in the world. In fact, We had somebody sign up from Antarctica this year, so that was pretty incredible. You know, you've been amazing supporters of us on this journey, and we like to think that people evangelize products that they truly, truly love. People all over the world have been so generous in sharing their excitement about our mission to unleash the potential of every team. I mean, holy crap, these are love letters to organizing software. You know, this actually was a blog post we put up. It was a year and a half after we launched Trello, and at the time, we were ecstatic that we had reached 500,000 signups, which is, it's incredible that I'm going to share you that this milestone that we just passed. But as of today, more than 25 million people have signed up for Trello. And we owe all of that success to our fans. No matter which team you are on, which apps you're using, or which device you have handy, we've got you covered.
Your invites and recommendations have gotten us here, and so as a token of our appreciation, we're giving 3 months of Trello Gold free to everyone in the audience. Just go to this URL right here. So, as we said, you're the reason we do this. Coming to Summit, meeting all of you, hearing your stories about how your teams are impacted by what we build really drives us every day. So thank you. And now, to talk to us more about Atlassian's customers and champions, please welcome Leslie. Thank you.
Thanks, Nikita and Michael. I'm amazed that we have 25 million users who are more productive and collaborative today because of Trello. I'd like all of you to take a moment and think back about how your teams, departments, and organizations worked before Atlassian. And now think about how work is getting done today. For those of you who have been through that journey, I hope you have seen a profound change. In my job, I'm lucky enough to hear stories every day about the profound changes that customers see in their culture and practices, in part because of our software. And the common theme among these stories is that it starts with a champion like you. At TD Securities, it started with Dan Bozeman, who bought instances of Jira and Confluence on his personal credit card for his team of 4. Based on his team's success and his advocacy, the company now has over 2,000 users of Atlassian, and the way they work has dramatically changed, enabling them to get products more quickly. At Next Era Energy, it started with Christopher Heritage. As a big fan of the products, Chris decided to start an internal company user group for people to learn more about Atlassian. 75 people showed up at that first meeting. After that, he got calls every day from business teams who wanted to get help getting set up with a Confluence space. With over 2,000 Atlassian users now, teams are working better and collaboration barriers are removed. While our champions lead profound changes within their organizations, what inspires me even more is that they don't stop there. So many of you have taken your passion and your knowledge and created the most amazing customer community I've ever seen. This community was created on the backs of our user group leaders, our community champions that Mike recognized earlier. But let me tell you a little bit more about who they are. They are people like Rachel Wright. Rachel started as a Jira administrator in her organization. And she saw others struggling with the same issues she had already overcome. So she decided to write a book on Jira best practices and strategies. She's toured 32 user group cities, and she's online on the community all the time helping others. They are also people like Nick Bruff. While most of us are happy, to be able to help one person a day, Nick does that over his morning coffee. In fact, Nick contributes to 50 questions and best practice discussions a day because he genuinely wants to help others succeed. You get a flavor of our community here at Summit, but it doesn't have to end on Thursday. I encourage all of you to check out your local user group and join the online community where you can connect with and learn from millions of other users in similar roles and industries throughout the year. You can also go to the community to see the replays of the Summit keynote and all the breakout sessions there, so you don't have to miss a thing and you can share back with all your teams. Now, before we move on, I want to take a moment and share a special story about our community. As you know, Hurricane Irma hit Florida this past weekend, affecting millions of people. We have a user group in Palm Beach, Florida, and this is a picture of a few of their members. Over 20 of them were supposed to be here today, but only 2 of them could actually make it because of the hurricane. One of those that made it was their user group leader, Fabian Lopez. Fabian shared with me that he's not only at Summit now to represent himself and his team, but he's here representing all of his user group members who couldn't be here. And he takes that responsibility very seriously. He's learning on their behalf, and he's going to go back and share on their behalf. That's the kind of community that we have, which is really amazing. Thank you to Fabian, Nick, Rachel, Chris, Dan, and everyone who's ever championed Atlassian inside your organization. You have made a difference. I wish I could call up every one of you to hear your stories of change, but I only have time to call up one special customer today. Let's take a quick look at their story.
Be the Match is focused on curing blood cancer, so we currently cure 55 different blood cancers. We both research new cures for those diseases, and we also provide cures to transplant physicians at hospitals around the country.
When someone needs a match and they look to their family members to see if they're a potential match for them, 30% of the time they can find a match within their family. So that leaves 70% where they can't. In those instances, they turn to Be the Match and we help them find a donor.
Transplant centers use the software that we provide at Be the Match to help run their transplant center. They use it to search for donors and then to also work with our case managers to help move that donor from choosing to join the registry all the way through to curing their patient.
Technology is a huge part of Be the Match. When you look at what we do, it's the combination of world-class technology and leading science initiatives that make matches happen.
Our mission really made an impact on me for the first time when I was able to go to one of our donor recipient meetings where someone who donated their bone marrow to a young cancer patient met them for the first time.
Since we started using Jira software and Confluence, I've really seen the amount of information sharing across our teams improve.
From medical professionals to our IT teams, the Atlassian suite of products brings all of our teams together so that we can deliver cures to patients in need every single day.
It is now my privilege to introduce the CIO of Be the Match, Mike McCullough.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be able to share our story with you all today. As you saw in the video, finding a bone marrow match is much more difficult than finding the match of 2 people with the same blood type. Both the donor and the patient need to have the same genetic makeup in order to enable a successful transplant. In one of my first experiences at Be the Match, I joined 8-year-old Kyle Crawford, who's pictured here on the screen above. When he was only 4, he was diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia, which is really a horrific disease. But the doctors, because of his half Chinese and half Caucasian heritage, shared with his parents that they were going to have a difficult time finding a cure for him. The family turned to Be the Match for help. Kyle's life-saving match ended up being Lieutenant Segundo, who was wounded in Iraq during one of his 3 tours of duty there. For his bravery in battle, he was given the Purple Heart by the United States government. And when he met Kyle for the first time at a Be the Match event in Minneapolis, the lieutenant was so moved by the little boy's bravery that he actually presented the Purple Heart to him at that time. Those 2 families have now started traveling together and have really become very close. In the upper left, or in the left part of the screen, is a little girl named Jade, who was cured by an umbilical cord transplant just 2 years ago. And on the right-hand side are 2 twin sisters named Catherine and Elizabeth, who were cured from their disease by the same donor named Ingo, who's from Germany, and you can see them in the picture to the right. To see the bonds that get created between these donors and patients is really amazing. But Jade, Catherine, and Elizabeth aren't the only ones. It doesn't stop there. Last year, we facilitated over 6,200 transplants in the United States. And since the founding of our science in 1987, we facilitated over 80,000. There's really no greater thank you. And for me, there's no greater personal reward than seeing that the work that we do every day helps to save people's lives. Every 3 minutes in the United States, someone receives the devastating news that they've been, or that they have a blood cancer. Over 9 million people in the US have joined our registry to selflessly give of themselves and their cells to help a patient in need if called upon. However, over half the transplants that we facilitate cross international borders, and that's because one's country of origin and ethnicity play a very key role in finding a match. So we work with registries in over 50 countries around the world, and our goal is to seamlessly integrate all of those registries so that our doctors, when they're searching for a patient, can look through the world's entire inventory of 31 million potential donors really in the first few seconds to help find that match for them. Additionally, we're working to upgrade our scientific, registry, and transplant center systems so that we can much more easily keep up with the rapid pace of scientific advancements in the cures that we provide. When I came to the organization in 2015, I quickly realized that we weren't able to easily scale to meet our goals. We had an overly complex technical environment with out-of-date tools for managing our software development lifecycle. We struggled to keep up with the speed of our science, which is moving very rapidly, and it became apparent that we were in need of a tool set to help us increase the collaboration, innovation, efficiency, and the quality of our development efforts. And for us, that solution was Atlassian. And Atlassian wasn't introduced to be the match from the top down. Several small teams began using it. They had great results. They shared it with their other team members. And over the past 2 years, it's become our development standard for all of the tools that we create in our environment. Atlassian has played a very key role in helping us be the match to dramatically reduce the time that it takes us to launch scientific advancements to our customers and partners. We've also made huge strides in increasing our transparency and collaboration amongst our teams, and we've moved towards a much more open, connected, and innovative culture. We can't achieve our mission without help from people just like all of you. Generous gifts to our foundation allowed us to help over 2,000 patients last year with the uncovered costs of their transplant, which can often be significant. We're also in constant need of donors to sign up on our registry and hopefully one day save the life of a patient in need. I'd really like to thank Atlassian today for your great partnership, both technically and as a corporate citizen, in helping us achieve our mission. And I want to thank you for letting me share our story with you all today. Thank you.
Thank you to Mike for his inspiring story. Now here's how all of us can help. Join me and enroll in the Be the Match registry. Enrolling is as easy as getting your cheek swabbed. You can do that on the concourse right outside the expo hall. Our goal is to have 1,000 people enrolled by the end of Summit. Help us to reach that goal, but more importantly, help increase the chances that someone with a blood cancer would live a healthy and whole life. I'm so proud that Atlassian Server Solutions have played a role in helping Be the Match accomplish their mission of saving lives through transplants. To talk more about our plans for our server and data center products and how they can help your organization, please welcome Cameron Deach.
Thanks, Leslie. As you heard, Atlassian helps teams accomplish their goals by bringing work, communications, and ideas out into the open. And much like the champions you just heard from, many of you are already benefiting from this openness. But I'm here to talk about what happens when you're successful. What happens when your teams truly adopt Atlassian products, and now your primary goal is scaling that success. As all of you know, Atlassian strives to provide as much flexibility as possible with how you use our technology, whether that is software as a service with our cloud offerings, deployed on a single server with our server offerings, or at scale in mission-critical environments via the data center editions of our products. Additionally, we are tuning the independent feature sets and roadmaps of each of those deployment options for the customer segments that are using them. But let's not mess around. Who wants to hear about the latest improvements to server and data center? Good, because that's where I'm going to focus today. In fact, I think your hands are going to be sore from so much clapping. But specifically, I'm going to focus about how these improvements are really helping your team scale over time. And when it comes to scale, we'll talk about 3 main areas. First, how we're helping you scale your Agile practices across your business. Second, for those of you who are looking beyond Agile, looking to transform your entire development lifecycle by embracing DevOps at scale. And lastly, a focus on sheer horsepower, how we're making improvements to the core parts of our applications to ensure that they're always available and always perform as your company grows. But let's start with Agile. But more importantly, let's start with everyone's favorite topic, your team's backlog. Now, Atlassian has always strived to provide as much flexibility as possible when it comes to how you adopt Agile practices. We actually believe allowing your teams to work the way they want to work and adopt Agile in the way that they need to adopt Agile is key to how you scale your success. However, for those of you who have adopted Kanban, one challenge you might have faced with your backlog is that usually it always ends up in your to-do list, which gets highly cluttered, it's disorganized. It basically breaks the core premise of Kanban, which is whatever's on your board should be the most important work of the day. What you need is a combination of Scrum and Kanban, or what we call KanPlan, which provides a backlog queue, dedicated backlog queue for your Kanban boards. Now, if you were here last year, you might have remembered KanPlan. We actually launched and announced KanPlan to our cloud customers at the last summit. And based off its successful rollout, we've since brought it to our server and data center customers. This is one of many examples where we release and perfect a feature with our cloud customers prior to bringing it to server. But let's talk about a more complicated topic. How do you scale multiple Agile teams? How do you balance autonomy and speed with top-down visibility and control? But really, how do you do all this without overloading all you wonderful, hardworking Jira admins out there? I know you're here. Let me know if this is a familiar situation with you. You have multiple project admins every single day coming to you to ask for changes to their workflows, add fields to your issues, reformat your issues screen. These relatively minor changes historically required global admin privileges. So what do? You make everyone a global admin, right? You know, what could go wrong? Well, for those of you who don't think making every single user a global admin is the right idea, we have a solution for you. Project-level administration. This year, we rolled out a series of improvements to give your project admins a little bit more control of their lives by allowing them to update their workflows, add fields to issues, reformat their issues screen. But just in case you want to keep tabs on all this new freedom, we track all those changes in the Jira audit log, and we also allow you to lock down certain sensitive projects from these changes. But we didn't stop at Jira Software. We've also rolled out improvements to both Bitbucket and Bamboo. You can now apply workflow settings, including permissions, for both these products at the project level. This significantly streamlines the setup of new repositories in Bitbucket and new build plans in Bamboo. As you can see, we're working hard to give all your teams a little bit more freedom and all you admins a whole lot more time back in your day. Now, we can't talk about scaling Agile without discussing Portfolio for Jira. Portfolio was built to help your teams plan, identify dependencies, and basically get visibility across your largest and complicated projects. And related to that, one of the most difficult aspects of product road mapping is identifying dependencies. However, this normally very difficult task just got a whole lot easier with the simple dependencies report in Portfolio. With the new dependencies report, your product owners can quickly identify blockers by their resolution date. Now, for those of you who use your Scrum boards for your daily stand-ups, for those of you who do Scrum of Scrum meetings, the new dependency report really becomes that place you spend those meetings. With Portfolio for Jira, we allow you to identify these unwanted surprises and eliminate them before they create costly delays. But some of you are running projects so large that they require multiple plans in Portfolio. Imagine you're launching a new mobile application, in portfolio or for your company. You might have a separate plan for iOS, a plan for Android, a plan for marketing, a plan for support readiness. How do you show visibility and dependencies across all these various plans? How do you know if you're going to ship on time and on budget? What you need is a plan of plans, or what we call a program view. With portfolio programs, we give an aggregated view across all of your plans. Now executives and your leadership get a top-down visibility of your most sophisticated and valuable business projects, and each individual team can openly see how their work contributes to the larger business objectives. Now I want to take a moment and discuss priorities. Priorities are a simple, standard way to help your teams manage their work and prioritize their backlog. However, as all of you know, priorities are historically set at the global level in Jira, meaning every single team needs to prioritize with the exact same terminology. In fact, this limitation happens to be one of our #1 feature requests in our online community with over 2,000 votes. Well, your votes matter. Going forward, you will see us spend more time on your most highly voted issues in our community. And you voted, and we're delivering. Coming soon to Jira, priorities per project. Now your team can prioritize the work in a way that makes the most sense for them, or at least reflects how we really prioritize our work. As you can see, we're helping you scale Agile across your teams. But as I mentioned before, in our constant pursuit to deliver more, faster, and with higher quality, many of us are moving beyond Agile. We're looking to transform our entire development process to deployment, monitoring, support, and customer feedback. And we're doing this by embracing DevOps. Now, how many of you in the audience are actually rolling out DevOps practices in your business? Yeah, I imagine our audience would be quite a few. Absolutely. When it comes to DevOps, while the underlying technology that enables DevOps is important, we at Atlassian believe that DevOps is fundamentally a culture and collaboration challenge, something that Atlassian is uniquely capable of helping you solve. Because when you think about it, DevOps is really about getting all those different teams that are building and running and monitoring and supporting your products and applications for your customers to work as a single efficient unit that is customer-focused. And of course, doing this all at scale only adds to the complexity. That is why we've released best practices like the DevOps game plan and the DevOps maturity model. These offerings allow your team to quickly run plays, to identify, eliminate, or improve all aspects of your DevOps practice. And while these best practices can help your team work better together, we're also rolling out a series of improvements to our technology to reinforce your DevOps practice, starting with config as code in Bamboo. Bamboo now supports creating and managing build plans once only accessible via the UI as code. Now you can store and version your build plans right alongside your source in Bitbucket. This means less manual interaction with your build servers and more efficient delivery of your builds. And most importantly, we've launched the #1 marketplace for DevOps apps. There are literally hundreds of applications and tools available to your organizations to support your DevOps practices. However, discovering, deploying, and integrating these apps can be a chore. It can take months, if not years. With the DevOps marketplace, we've created a curated list of the leading DevOps apps in the marketplace. And we made it easy for you to find, integrate, and deploy those with the rest of your Atlassian suite. And I'd like to take a quick moment to call out a few of the latest and newest apps in our marketplace, starting with AWS, who's integrated CodeStar with Jira and Code Build with Bitbucket to streamline continuous integration and continuous delivery in the cloud. And vendors like Dynatrace, AppDynamics, and New Relic, who've integrated their monitoring tools with Jira, provide more context into issues as they arise and speed resolution of those problems for your customers. Now, if you're interested more in DevOps, and there's a ton more out there, please go visit the DevOps Solutions booth out on the show floor later in the show today. Now, let's shift away from scaling your practices and discuss what we're doing to ensure that our applications always perform as your organization scale. And this, of course, means we're going to focus on our data center offerings. Over the last few years, we've rolled out a series of features to support your mission-critical needs around high availability, performance, security, administrative control, and deployment flexibility. And this has led us to deliver critical functionality like zero downtime upgrades, support for SAML, and quick start guides for AWS. And while we've expanded our data center-specific functionality over the last few years, we've also expanded the data center family. Just recently, we launched HipChat Data Center and Crowd Data Center, both currently available for our customers. Now, before I discuss the latest in our data center offerings, I want to take a quick moment to discuss our core promise of high availability and performance at scale. If you look back just a few years at Atlassian, we really had a limited set of offerings for our largest enterprise customers. At that time, Atlassian was still heavily used at the department or team level. But since that time, many of you have expanded your usage drastically. I know a few of you in the audience today represent some of the largest deployments of our applications in the world. In fact, LinkedIn, who's presenting in a breakout session later in the event, is going to discuss how they have over 3 million issues on a single Jira installation. They're literally running almost every department. The whole business is using Atlassian applications to get their work done. However, supporting this type of scale requires fundamental changes to the underlying plumbing and architecture of our applications. And while topics like indexing improvements, cluster stability, and cache replication aren't exactly the sexiest topic to throw up on a 90-foot screen, they're important because it's only through the combined effect of these engineering improvements that we can confidently say that your applications will always be available and always perform. And of course, as we roll out these improvements, we want to make sure that you can test them in your own environments. This year, we rolled out performance testing frameworks for both Bitbucket Data Center and Confluence Data Center. And based off their successful rollouts, pretty soon we'll be releasing Jira Software Data Center Performance Testing Framework. Now you can test Jira at the right scale for your unique environment. But we also know that many of you are moving out of your own data centers and taking advantage of new third-party hosting offerings. This is why over the last year, we significantly expanded our support for AWS. You can now deploy the entire data center family of products via auto-scaling clusters in AWS literally in just a few minutes. I highly suggest you check out the breakout session that AWS is speaking later to tell you exactly how this works. But while AWS is important, we also know that a few of you out there are going a different path. And that's why I'm very happy to say that going forward, Atlassian is providing support for Microsoft Azure. With Jira Software Data Center, we'll be shipping Azure solution templates, allowing you to deploy an entire data center cluster of Jira software to Microsoft in just a few minutes. As you can see, providing choice and flexibility is critical to the long-term strategy of Atlassian and for our customers. And in the spirit of providing this choice, I actually like to change things up and discuss our cloud offerings for a minute. Over the next few years, you'll see us release a variety of new enterprise-specific features in our cloud offerings. And when we went to our largest enterprise customers and asked them, what are your major blockers for adopting our cloud offerings? Topics like user administration, improved security, single sign-on always came to the top of the list. Well, in that spirit, I'm proud to announce a brand new offering from Atlassian, Identity Manager for Atlassian Cloud. With Identity Manager, we deliver on your enterprise requirements for security and administrative control through two-step password verification, support for SAML, and improved support SLAs via our priority support offerings. And this is just the first step we are taking to make Atlassian Cloud a compelling offering for the enterprise. We are committed to innovation across all three of our deployment options. And regardless of the path your company takes as it grows and scales, Atlassian's offerings will continue to grow and scale with you. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much. And, oh, looks like I'm getting a hip chat from Scott, our CEO. I don't think I forgot anything. And now another hip chat from every server customer ever. You're absolutely right, I did forget something. Mobile is coming to server. Very soon, we'll be shipping the beta release of Confluence Mobile for you server customers, and don't worry, Jira's right on its heels. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Cameron. Now we're just getting started. For those who don't know, those mobile apps originally started as Ship It projects. Now, Ship It is our quarterly innovation event at Atlassian. So we form teams from all sorts of different functions, started in engineering, but now people from all over the company join. And for 24 hours, those teams get together to bring new ideas to life, to innovate, to create. Now, previously, we've brought some of the fantastic presentations from those ideas to Ship It in a session we've called Ship It Live on the second day of Summit. But as part of opening up our culture and showing you even more flavor of Ship It, this year we're trying something different. For those who came yesterday, you'll know that we actually have 5 teams doing Ship It live on the show floor. Scott and Dom kicked them off last night, and we're going to try to do a live cross, because we need more technical complexity today, a live cross to Molly to see how those teams are doing 12 hours in. Molly, are you there?
Hey, thanks, Mike. Yeah, we're here. We're going to interview and chat with a little bit of the teams. Pete, I noticed that you guys had a lot of action at your station last night between customer visits and video conferences. Can you tell us a little bit about your tactics?
Yeah, sure. It was great to talk to customers to validate the problem and to, I guess, build off their excitement. We've got a lot of really excited customers about integrating Confluence with Trello. We're, of course, using Trello to get our team on the same page with time zones. It really helps. We've got team members in London, Sydney, and Gdansk. So, yeah, getting everyone on the same page is really important.
Awesome, thank you. Jeff, over to you.
Thanks, Molly. Let's check in with Emil from Team Yellow. How many monsters and Red Bulls have you all had?
What? Well, you know, a decent number, I guess.
What about any struggles that you had through the night?
Well, there's a number of projects involved, a lot of moving pieces, so getting everything right, getting authentication right, that was challenging. And we're dealing with transcription, so the accents of our international team were made for some comical moments as well, but we're on top of it, we're shipping it, we're good.
Excellent, good luck. Let's check in with the blue team. Tyler, how are you all? I heard you guys had some early success. We saw you guys left a little bit early, maybe. What was the key to that?
Our team, having Michael and Con from the Connect as a platform team that powers Jira, Confluence, and Stride really helped us get across the line in terms of executing on the problem.
Excellent. Good luck to you all. Let's go back to Molly.
All right, checking in with the purple team. You guys came in ready to rumble, but I understand you had some unexpected bumps last night. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yes, our designer went to the hospital, so we had to scramble to find out another one, but now we're able to ship it.
A scale of 1 to 10. Think you're going to ship?
12 out of 10.
Ooh, 12 out of 10. All right, let's go to one final check-in here with the green team. Green team, how's jet lag kicking in? How you feeling?
I think we're all feeling pretty tired after that flying home from Sydney.
I can imagine. And so I know that you guys have tried a similar project in past Ship It's. How is this one different? Is it the sheer number of Tim Tams, or?
Yeah, it's definitely the number of Tim Tams this time. But this time we're using a platform library that will actually hopefully make things a lot smoother and nicer.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. Good luck to everyone. Back to you, Mike.
Thanks, Molly. It's awesome to see the messiness of creation. Again, given that these people only started 12 hours ago, it's going to be very open, and we'll see what they can achieve by tomorrow. Good luck, teams, for the next couple of hours. For those who want to see the results, tomorrow afternoon, Ship It Live, end of Thursday. Up next, let me bring up Megan and Jens to talk about how we keep software and service teams better connected with all of our tools. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. At Atlassian, we found that having a tightly connected team is one of the key factors that makes software teams successful. Building that connection has allowed our teams and thousands of other companies scale exponentially in the cloud. It's easy to think about software as just developers and code, but there is so much more going into it. You need marketing to get the word out. You need designers to craft the experience, and you need operations to keep everything up and running, and so many more. It takes a team to build and manage great software. But all of those people have their own tools that they use in their craft, and these can create information silos that can waste your team's time. It can send you interrupting people and hunting for answers for those key questions that come up every single day, such as, who do I go to ask about this code? Where can I find those latest designs? What's going out in that release next week? Or even, hopefully not often, but can we release next week? So it's really important to have all of these people tightly connected. And it's also important to support them with tightly connected tools. Let's start with the tool developers spend a lot of time in, Bitbucket.
You heard Cameron talking about the importance of DevOps. And we've been taking DevOps to the next level. With Bitbucket pipelines, we've built DevOps right into Bitbucket, putting continuous delivery at the fingertips of your developers. If you don't know what pipelines is, let me give you a quick overview. So with pipelines, you can write code to configure your test and deployment process. But not only that, you can also manage and provision your infrastructure via Docker containers. Simply define the requirements of your build, and pipelines will automatically spin up the infrastructure you need. And since we can configure the infrastructure as code, it gets versioned alongside your source code in your repository. And this is what it looks like. This is testing and delivery right within Bitbucket. Now, we believe that pipelines will make you a ton more productive, and I wanted to figure out how much more productive it actually makes you. How much more easy does it make your job? And I did some research. I found one tweet on the internet that stated that Alex's life got 1,000 times easier because he uses Bitbucket pipelines. I think that's statistically significant, although our analysts slightly disagree on that one. But we also added 3 great new features that make it even better. The first one is service containers. If you have any dependencies on your build, for example, a database, you can use service containers to add those services. With Docker build and push, your operations team can now build and test Docker containers within pipelines and make them available to your development team. And lastly, you can use multiple steps if you need to test against different environments that have different infrastructure.
So we know most of you use Jira to keep your entire team aligned. It's where people like your project managers spend most of their time. And we already have really great integrations with Bitbucket for them. So you can see the progress of development in Jira with branches, commits, and pull requests all showing up right on the issue. But for developers who spend more time in Bitbucket, all we've had is this link. And the link, when you click it, takes you into Jira, so away from the context of your work. So we've made that much, much tighter. Now, when you click on that link, you'll be able to see that full issue view right from within Bitbucket. And this is exactly the same view that you get when you go into Jira, right down to the actions. So you can update the description, you can transition it, you can add a comment, and you can even attach the latest designs. But you know, it's pretty hard sometimes to get designers to attach the latest designs.
From the designers, yeah. It's not really the designer's fault, though. We didn't really make it that easy for them to attach them. Look, the designers don't spend their lives or their days in Jira. They spend their days designing in a tool like Photoshop or Sketch in this case. Now, to get the designs from Sketch into Jira, requires them to export the design to the local computer, open up Jira, find the right ticket, upload the design. Now, try to do that 10, 12, 15 times a day. That gets pretty boring really quick. So we thought, can we make that a little bit easier? Can we get the designers to collaborate better with the developers and the rest of the team? So we brought Jira right into Sketch. So now a designer can open up their Jira tickets, find the recent tickets or the tickets that are assigned to them, and open it up in Sketch. From here, the only thing they need to do is drag any layer from Sketch onto the ticket. So it can be the whole design or just a button from the design as well. And that way, they can share it with the designer, with the development team, and add a comment at the bottom as well to say what has been updated. And then in Jira, thank you. Thanks to the designers in the back. Thank you. And in Jira, the developer can just pick it up and go and implement it. And this is only one of many integrations that we started working on. We're also working with Adobe and InVision on really tight integrations with their products. And if you check out the Atlassian marketplace, you will see we have integrations with all the leading design tools out there. Now, Sketch is one of the tools that designers love using, but there's another tool that designers really like.
Right. Earlier, you heard from Nikita and Michael about how all types of teams love organizing their work in Trello. And when we looked into it, we actually found that 14% of Bitbucket Cloud users are already using Trello to organize their software projects and collaborate with marketing and design and their extended entire team. So I'm really excited today to announce that we are bringing Trello boards right into Bitbucket. Thank you. Now in the same tool that you use to collaborate on your code, your team has everything they need to plan and track their work. So when you create a project, you can now add a Trello board to the repository, so your developers know where to go to pick up the next piece of work. Branches, commits, and pull requests can then all be added in later so that everyone has visibility on what's happening in the development process. And while this Trello board is embedded in Bitbucket, you can access that same board from Trello.com, or from the desktop app, or even on your phone from the mobile app. So it's available wherever you need it to be. And at the same time, marketing folk, designers, they can all go ahead and access those same boards and collaborate with you without having to deal with all of the technical details of Bitbucket. So it's just another way that we're helping your wider teams come closer together and stay connected.
But to build really, really great software, you need to think even wider than just your team. You need to make your customers part of your team. And we certainly consider all of you part of the Atlassian team. That's why you have the cool stickers now. And the best way to connect with your customers is Jira Service Desk. With the Jira Service Desk portal, your customers can go and find the right information themselves or get in touch with you if they need to. Now, the only problem today is that the portal may not always feel like it's you or your company. Did anyone think that looked like the Canon Help Desk Center? No? Yep, definitely not. So that's why we added some new features to Jira Service Desk to allow you to customize the portal. You can now make the portal look and feel more like your company. And we can make that portal look and feel more like Canon. And you don't have to be a designer, even though now we have great integration with Jira, but you don't have to be a designer to do this. Everybody can get that done in just a few minutes. Now, the portal is one way to connect with your customers, but even more important is that you speak your customer's language, literally. And with most of you having customers all over the world, it becomes really, really important, because most of the countries in the world don't speak English, as we can see in the blue here. Now, this is why the new portals also support internationalization. So whether your customers speak French, Japanese, or German. And you can tell this is a German portal because the words are really, really long. You can support all of them, and you can speak their language. And on the back end, the request comes in just the same way it always does. Except now you have the ability to route the request based on the language to the right support agent. And if you want to get really fancy with your process, you can even, thank you. And if you want to get really fancy with your process, you can even specify separate SLAs for different countries.
Right, so having a customized portal and speaking your customer's language will let you reach more of your customer base. However, you can go even further. To reach your entire customer base, you need to bring that service to them. You need to make it effortless for them to solve their problems. And that's why today we're launching Embedded Service Desk. It allows you to provide help in your website or your application, wherever your customers live. This includes access to your existing knowledge base so your customers can help themselves, or you can allow them to raise requests through your portal as well. And you can tailor it to your product, so you can include the right colors, the right styles, and all of the right questions so that you understand what your customer is looking for. And once the request is complete, it acts exactly the same way as any other Jira Service Desk request. But to really provide exceptional service, you need to know everything about your customer, including their history. And many companies know this, and many of you know this. You have customer relationship management systems to track all of this information. And so we're going to put that at your fingertips. With the CRM for Jira Cloud, you can see information about your customers' cases, their opportunities, their history, all live right here in Jira. In this case, it's all coming from Salesforce. This is just one of the many integrations. This is just one of the many integrations that we have with CRMs and hundreds of other apps. If you want to check out more, you can head to our marketplace or go and chat to one of our vendors out in the hall.
To summarize, by connecting the tools you use, you can bring your teams closer together. Whether it's connecting your designers with your developers with the Sketch integration, or by putting Trello boards into Bitbucket and keeping your team connected like never before. And connection is the key to building great products. Now, please welcome Ash and Robbie D to talk about the latest chapter in Atlassian's product design. Thank you.
Thanks. So we just heard Megan and Jens talk about bringing engineering, design, and support teams closer together and closer to the customers. But building connections is not just for technical teams. It also includes the non-technical teams in an organization. That's why we want to make it as easy as possible for any team to get started with Atlassian, from the engineering and design teams to marketing and HR, even sales. Our products exist to facilitate discussion, debate, and forward movement as a result. Atlassian tools are conduits of conversation for every team. We hear every day from you that part of the reason why you love our products is because of their power. But with that power comes more complexity. We add more data, more people, more features. It's no wonder your teams crave more familiar experiences. Because to some of your teammates, using Confluence or Jira for the first time actually might feel a lot like this, a place for only highly trained individuals. And that's not ideal, because Atlassian's mission is to help every person on the team get their work done. Anybody should be able to get from point A to point B without requiring a pilot for every trip. Sometimes powerful products are a barrier. They're just too difficult to master, keeping people from collaborating in a meaningful way. In 2012, we started the long journey to evolve our products to be more approachable, cohesive, and to harmonize the way they work together.
As designers, our goal has been and still is to craft experiences with less complexity and more clarity. We want to provide you with the right depth of functionality at the right time to help you focus more on what needs to be done. Rather than stripping away features, we're simplifying functionality to make it more intuitive and approachable. We're using simplification design techniques such as grouping, progressive reveals, scaling, as well as consistent layouts and an intelligent color scheme, to name a few. But these aren't just pretty pictures, because we take the combination of design and science really seriously. We've put more scientific rigor than ever before behind our design decisions. For example, when we tested collaborative editing, we looked at how long it took people to add collaborators, how quickly they could do it, as well as how many clicks it took them. These are some of the biggest changes in our products, and so it's really important that we're less subjective and more confident in our decision-making.
So our approach is more than just adding a bunch of snazzy new logos.
We really do love them, though.
We actually really do love these. And it's more than just looking at color and type, but about rethinking the entire product experience. And this has resulted in a common design language that harmonizes our experiences across products and devices. Let's take a look at how this approach has impacted Confluence for Cloud. Just as a reminder, this is Confluence today. But we listened to you, that you wanted to easily create beautiful content, but with very little effort, and get work done with your teams. But right now, you struggle with a cumbersome editing experience, so we've spent the time to redefine it. We have moved the most important actions, like formatting, bullets, tables, and tasks, and made them far more readily accessible.
But is all the editing power still there?
You know what, Ashley? All the editing experience is still there. We've removed nothing. We've just made it one click away. You will also notice that we have a new default page layout with a more readable line length to make it easier for people to scan, create, and edit pages quickly. But we know that a lot of you still need the wider format pages, so we've left that power there as well. It is simple and easy to create all kinds of content that demand more width. You also told us you love collaborative editing, but it's too hard to add more people. So we've made it easier so that you can add the people so you can craft the best and most effective content together. Just 2 clicks now, and you and your team are collaborating together in real time. The result is a cleaner, more focused page that makes your content the hero, helping you get your point across in the best way possible. But we know we're not quite done with it yet. We're improving it all the time and taking your feedback and working iteratively to make it better. On the mobile side, we've made it very easy for you to pick up where you've left off with your most recent work, or create and edit pages with simple formatting options, allowing you to be as mobile as you need to be. So with Confluence Cloud, we focused on making the content simpler to create. We've improved readability, and we've made it easier than ever for you to collaborate with your teammates. We've updated nearly every aspect of the new Confluence for Cloud, from the smallest details, like refreshing the icons, to global navigation and smarter search. And I'm happy to announce that we've now made the new Confluence for Cloud experience available to 100% of our customers.
So we've taken our new design language to vastly improve Confluence. And we've taken the same design philosophy to completely reimagine Jira for Cloud. These are some of the biggest, most radical improvements in all of Jira's history.
So Ash, how do you take a product like Jira and simplify it with all that power?
Well, first, don't worry. We aren't dumbing it down. What we are doing is completely reimagining it with all team members in mind. We're keeping the power and flexibility that you've all come to love and rely on, but made it in a far more intuitive and approachable way. Our philosophy is to land on a healthy balance between simplicity and power, what we call simply powerful. And that brings us to some pretty bold changes in Jira that I'd like to share with you now. As your organization evolves, you need a Jira that evolves with you. That's why we've simplified the key experiences. Instead of having to go to settings to modify the columns, you can now do it all in line. You can create inline columns, reorder columns, as well as inline issues, all within the board. So now you're spending more time in context and less time tracking down those settings. We've also focused on bringing more clarity to the way that we present your work. We've rethought the entire issue experience based on customer usage and data to present your content with less noise and more signal. We've grouped content in a more meaningful way, making it easier than ever for you to understand what needs to be done. We've brought together all the ways that you can build out your issue into one consolidated group, right there when you need it. We've also put the most important elements front and center, giving you quick access to features that help you collaborate with your team. It's a lot less cluttered and a lot more focused. So now the issue pages are easier for you to consume. They're also easier for you to use. The adding content is improved, and the previews are far more informative. The transition actions and the status lozenge are finally together as one, making changing progress super simple. So now you've just seen a few examples of how simplicity is making the power of Jira more readily available to you. And as a bonus, most of these experiences are in the process of shipping. But we aren't just stopping there. No, we're not. We've been working really hard on some of the most complex yet powerful aspects of Jira to make it easier for you to adopt and understand. So let's take a sneak peek. We want to enable our amazing Jira administrators to spend more time focused on developing best practices within their organizations and less time clicking around configuring schemes. Our goal is to assure that not only Jira administrators, but anyone can create and configure their own projects. That's right, anyone should be able to create and set up their own Jira project to suit their team's needs.
So, as Mike mentioned earlier, at Atlassian, we believe that open work helps people and teams work better together. We also understand change is just hard. And as part of us embracing being open, we thought we'd share some of the reactions to the changes you've seen. Well, to be honest, not everybody's keen on the changes. In fact, John, very unhappy. The experience you just saw, extremely unusable. Please revert to the old design, now. And please fire the designer. Ouch. So some of your feedback is a little harder to read than others for us. But on the other side of it, we actually get quite effusive feedback about the exact same experience. And here, Peter, who I happen to love, thinks that the view issue modal is way better than the existing experience. So we as designers know that the design decisions we make can impact you and your team very differently than you and your team. And so we need your feedback, both positive and not so positive, to make the experiences better for you. Because you are on this journey with us.
And we will look forward to continuing it with you. Please welcome Don Price to the stage, who is going to
boom, boom, shake the room.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, my God.
Huzzah! Carry on clapping! Louder! More clapping. More clapping. That's enough. That's plenty. No, that's too many. I get paid by the clap. So you may have noticed one of the values at Atlassian is about building with heart and balance. Now, when I think about balance, you've had lots of information and a little bit of entertainment. And so for the next 2 minutes, I want to give your brain a break so you can relax that. And we're going to do a bit more entertainment. Are you willing to have some fun?
The people at the back aren't taking part. The people at the back, are you ready to have some fun? There we go, the stragglers. So DJ Christina's on. Can you all make sure you have your PixMob bracelets on? So the first thing I need you to do, I need you to get your hands in the air, and we're going to do a bit of a wave. Right now, the wave's going to start here, and in theory, I'm going to keep up with it. It's in theory because I'm not really into fitness. So what we do, when we're ready with the lights, we're going to start here, and the lights should magically transform across the room at a similar pace to I run. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! And the lights move across. The lights are getting brighter, brighter, brighter. Bigger wave, bigger wave, bigger wave. No selfies. There's a man there who took a selfie. Now, I don't want you people to feel left out. Just because you were last in that movement, you now get to go first. And we're going to go that way. But I need a different arm movement. So can I get you to stand up? And I want you to kind of get the arms really going, like really like throw them. So from here, and stand up, and all the way across. Stand up, all the way across, all the way. Look at that. Look at that. I never said sit down. No, you can sit down. I'm out of breath. I'm not prepared for this. Now, you know like middle child syndrome? We've got middle row syndrome. So I don't want you to feel left out. There's some very important people here. I want you to feel like you can take part. So this next one, I need just this middle row to stand up. And you're going to send your lights either side. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Well, I mean, if you could see what I could see, that is mediocrity. That is awesome. You excelled at average. That was really just fine. So the last exercise we're going to do is the most important exercise. So I need you all to stand up and to face your partner. Mike, I'm really sorry. Can you come on stage? Mike has no idea he's doing this. You can just stand on that white dot there. So you're all very competitive people, right? Right. DJ Christina, are you ready for the dance-off? I want your best wedding dance. You've had a scotch or a margarita. It's your best friend's wedding. This is 30 seconds, and you've got to go. Are you ready? Come on, no more. Side to side. In the air, give me some roll. Do some planking. Do the legs, do the legs, do the legs. Go on, don't stop. You've got to get it going. Come on. Right, right. We need to sit down and stop before I have a heart attack. I need you to keep your PixMob bracelets. We're going to use those at Bash tonight. Enjoy the rest of the session. Time to re-engage your brains and have some fun.
Thanks, Dom. So I did promise you that we'd open up the stage to a very diverse range of characters from Atlassian. Now, you've heard Scott and I speak about our belief in working open and the pivotal role it plays in the future of teamwork. Now, we like to think of ourselves as part of one extended team with you, our customers, partners, investors, and obviously all of the Atlassians. So as a part of my team, today I get to share a little bit about where we're headed as a company. Now, Scott spoke yesterday about how the world around us is becoming less predictable. Teamwork is getting more messy, not less, as we have more applications, more information, more noise, and obviously ever more pressure. And we're tackling more complex challenges than ever before. Challenges that you can't solve alone. Challenges that require you to unlock the creative potential of your team. Luckily, there are new technologies that we can leverage to give your team new powers. Software is becoming smarter with artificial intelligence, machine learning, and just lots and lots and lots of data. All the while, interaction patterns are changing radically with voice and natural language interfaces, AR and VR, changing the way we experience that smarter software. Now, alongside this, we'll all need to find new ways of working. As our organizations change shape from more classical hierarchies to more organic, free-form structures with fluid, dynamic boundaries that are changing. And at the same time, we're working from everywhere to leverage the talent of the entire planet. Now, as a father of 4, a lot of my work days look exactly like this, albeit a little bit less calm than that. And Atlassian as a whole, we're a great example of this. Sometimes it does feel a little bit like we're working in the future. More than 2,000 people across 10 different offices on 5 continents, and hundreds more working from home. Yet across this environment, we all gel as one team and produce and create all the things that you see around you, from the software to the practices to the events. And together over the past 15 years, we've created an incredible family of products that allow people to collaborate in various different domains. And in the past 5 years, we've ignited a vibrant ecosystem around those products. Thousands of apps in the marketplace, and many, many, many integrations with all of the most popular cloud services. We've also increasingly started to share our practices around teamwork, for example, in the team playbook. Because we know that success in an unpredictable world isn't just about software and tools. It's as much about shifting the culture of your team, in how the team operates, and in how people interact with each other. So as we look into the future, we're going to continue to iterate on the products, the practices, and the ecosystem, and continue to improve them year on year as we've always have done. But to truly have your teams thrive amid these challenges and opportunities, we're going to take a pretty big step. Today, we're introducing the Atlassian Teamwork Platform. Now, the Teamwork Platform will underpin all of our products and help you collaborate more effectively with teams and people inside your organization and beyond. Now, millions of people use our products every day to work better with their teams. This gives us a really unique perspective across people in different industries, different functional groups, different departments, different geographies. It gives us a unique perspective into how all of those groups get work done. But despite their differences, we've identified a set of common patterns and interactions, whether a team is shipping software, planning events, or finding a cure for diseases. Now, at the core of this platform is fundamentally connecting people with their work. To share more details about how this platform is coming to life in the products that you already know and love today and tomorrow, let me bring up Anu and Steen.
Thanks, Mike. Today, Steen and I are super excited to share with you more about our teamwork platform based on 3 major pillars. The first pillar is all about people, how we enable you to connect with the right people at the right time. The second pillar is about elements. Elements are a common set of collaborative patterns across our products that help you get teamwork done. And the final pillar is home. It brings together people and elements in one single place, allowing you to stay on top of your most important work. So let's look at what each of these 3 pillars are, starting with people. At Atlassian, we obsess about teamwork, making teams work better. After all, what is a team? A team is basically a group of people bound by a shared purpose, connecting together in various different ways. For instance, Steen and I are a team, and we work together in different ways. On a typical day, I might assign a Jira ticket to Steen, and he might send me a pull request for me to code review. But Steen and I also share a passion for vegan food, and you can often see us lurking around in chat rooms, sharing reviews of the latest new vegan restaurants to hit town.
Yummy.
These connections are what brings Teen and I together as a team. And such connections are what brings millions of our users together into their own teams. Jira tickets, HipChat messages, Confluence pages, Trello cards. Billions of such connections connect our users across our entire family of products today. The Teamwork platform is built on top of this huge amount of data, enabling us to build smarter interactions in our products. Today, we will show you one example of how we surface the intelligence of this network to make your work simpler.
So, many of you have told us that you often go to a teammate's profile to find your work. The challenge is that as you add more products to how you work, you have to go and navigate to multiple profiles. Well, today, as part of our Teamwork Platform initiative, Anu and I are very excited to announce our plans to launch one integrated profile for all of our products in the cloud. Nice. And right now, I'd like to take you through a sneak peek of how that's going to look over the coming quarters. So imagine that I'm looking for a particular document that I know Anu wrote this document, but I don't recall how to get back to it. So with the new people directory, I can go in there and search for Anu, and from there quickly get into her new profile, which is common across all products in the cloud. In that profile, I can see a bunch of really helpful information. I can see a presence indicator on her avatar, the little green circle there, showing me that she's online. I also can see that she's currently at Summit, which is not too surprising. I can also see the chat rooms that she's in and the people she works with most frequently. And that tells me a bit about the projects she's working on or the team she's in. And most importantly for right now, I'm looking for a specific document. I can see the work we have in common, which is sort of the interface of the two, which is part of that whole Teamwork Platform value. And from there, I can get to the document I'm after. It's really cool. And lastly, I also get a bit of a hint of Anu's personality. And I think if you knew her, you would know that it would be a significant understatement to say that she's got a mild fascination for cats.
Meow. So that was people. Let's look at the second pillar of the Teamwork platform, elements. At Atlassian, we've been building software for teams for over a decade now. From our experience, we've recognized a common set of collaboration patterns for how teams get work done in a fun and productive way. We call them elements. So elements are of three categories. The first category captures work that's most important. The second category of elements lets you express your thoughts and personality. And the third category allows you to connect the people on your team with their work. Some of these elements exist in our products already, while some we are building anew. Let's start by looking at an element that you're already very familiar with, mentions. Recently, I was brainstorming on a Confluence page about ideas for Summit, and when it came the time to think about stickers, I knew the right people on my team to get involved. So I mentioned Kelly and Clive on my Confluence page. Now, many of you have done this before, used mentions to bring in your team members on a page. But what actually happens in the background when we do this? With a mention, what I've actually done here is added two people on two different continents, connected them with each other, and given them enough context to take the next step on the sticker action item and enable them to get work done. And I have done all of this without ever getting out of my Confluence page. In the absence of mentions, I would have had to go to an email or messaging, typed out a lot of text, and hope that Clive and Kelly got enough information to take the next step, while I struggled to get back to my brainstorming on Confluence. Mentions avoids all of those problems. And mentions is just one example of the different elements that we have. Of all the other elements, things like actions, decisions, comments, the basic workflow is the same. You start off doing work solo, but when time comes to involve your team, you can do that right there, in context, sparking off a collaboration loop at the speed of thought. And with the Teamwork platform, what works for Confluence works across the board for all our products. So with Elements, we now bring you a common language for teamwork, no matter which product you're using. So let's look at a few examples of Elements.
So the first class of elements are ones that help you capture work. So imagine I'm putting together some meeting notes in Confluence, and I want to make sure I can capture an action item and assign it to Anu. When I use the action element, I know that when Anu reviews the document, she's going to be able to see which items are assigned to her or to her team. Now, actions are available in Confluence today, and our plan is to bring actions to all our cloud products in the future, giving your teams consistent and easy ways to capture and assign work.
The second category of elements are those that let you express yourself on your team. You often want to react to your team's work in a richer and fun way. To do that, we are now introducing a new element called reactions. With reactions, you can like a Jira comment. And for all those times when a like is just not enough, you can express your reactions with a heart, or a fist bump, or any other emojis of your choice at all. We know that teams have their own unique culture and their own private jokes and memes and cultural totems. With custom emojis, we let you create your own unique emoji, so you can use that to react to your team's work. For instance, my favorite Atlassian emoji is the dancing penguin.
It's awesome.
Reactions are coming to all our products, starting with Jira first.
So let's have a look at an example of the last class of element. This is all about connecting people and their work. If you're anything like me, you'll find yourself during the day sharing links between Atlassian products many, many times. And this can be time-consuming and a bit frustrating when you can't find that exact item you're after. Well, the link element is my new best friend. It helps me find and access my most recent work at my fingertips, no matter where I am. Let's have a look at it in action. So say this is Jira issue, and I want to add a couple of links to it so Anu can progress and move forward with this item. With the link element, I can quickly see all my recent activity and work across all Atlassian products, and with one click, boom, I've added a Confluence page link into a Jira issue. Really fast, fun, efficient. It's awesome. But what if I want to access an older thing, something which I worked on many months ago? Well, I can also do that. With the link element, I can just simply search through my history of activity and then add that item directly into the Jira issue as well. Super powerful. I love it. I think you guys will like it too. Nice. Thank you.
So that was Elements. It gives your team collaboration superpowers. And now, let's look at the final part of the teamwork platform, home. We've all been familiar with this situation. We start off our day with great gusto, with ambitious plans for all the goals we will accomplish through the day. But as soon as you get to work, there are a million things waiting to distract you and drain your energy straight away. Email, messages, meetings, things that are waiting on you. It's easy to get distracted and overwhelmed and not be able to get to the first thing on your goals at all. That's where Atlassian Home comes in. Powered by smart recommendations, built on all the data in our teamwork platform, Atlassian Home automatically surfaces the work that is most important to you across all your products. Atlassian Home is the one place to start your day and stay focused on the work that matters, no matter what tool you're using to get your work done. Let's look at how Home can help you.
So we know there's various types of work, right? There's work that you're actively engaged with right now. There's work that might be coming to you from other people, usually in the form of a notification, or work that's going on around you in your team. The first key part of Home is your work, which is all about finding most important active work for you to get to next. Now, we built your work based around a really smart recommendation system, which is all about unearthing the most relevant and important thing for you to look at next. And let's look at the sort of things that come to life in your work. Firstly, things which are assigned to you will appear there. So if there's a document's been assigned to you or for approval, you'll see it in there. It may be a task that's been assigned to you. It'll appear in your work. The second type is work that you've been looking at recently quite a lot. So over the last few days, if you've been checking a Jira issue for status changes, or maybe it's a Confluence page you want to see the comments on, you've been going there a few times, that will also appear. And lastly, my favorite is time-based. So say I have a team meeting every Tuesday, and I use the same Confluence page to take notes in that meeting. Well, Home learns from that behavior, and Home will then actually present that page back to me in future weeks just before my meeting, saving me having to scramble around and find that notes page, slowing down the start of my meeting, which I know Anu will appreciate, because I do it all the time. Yes.
So those are the things that you're actively working on. But what about work that's coming to you from other people? Today, you get notifications from a multitude of different apps, making it hard to stay on top of all of them. With Home, we offer one view of all your notifications across all your products, including Jira and Confluence. Home uses smart algorithms to focus on the most important set of your notifications and brings that up on top of your page. These include things like your mentions, shares, or if someone commented on your work. No more having to wade through reams of email to get to your most important notifications.
Finally, there's what's happening around you. So it might be work that's happening in your team, maybe an indirect team, or across the whole organization. And today, looking at our products, you need to go to each product to see the activity from your teams. Well, we're excited to talk about Newsfeed today, which aggregates and puts in one place all of your team's activity in one view. And we also raise to the top the most important and relevant news as well. Very cool. Anu and I wanted to also share one more thing today, if we can, which is that over the last year, we've had Home in sort of early access for some customers. We talked about it a year ago at Summit with a sneak peek. And some of you guys have been providing really valuable feedback on Home, and we really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much. But today, we're excited to say that if you're on Confluence Cloud or Jira Cloud, you'll be able to access Home officially today for everybody. Woohoo! We would love you to try it out. Just go to the app switcher in the bottom left of the navigation, and you'll see Home at the top there. Have a play. We'd love your feedback.
People, elements, Home. These are the three pillars of our teamwork platform. Together, they'll help you make your work more open and connected across all products every day. As we evolve our teamwork platform, you'll start to see the products that you use already today get better and smarter, supercharged by this platform. The Teamwork Platform is the foundation for all new Atlassian cloud products that we are building ourselves, as well as our ecosystem partners as well. To talk about the newest product built on top of the Teamwork Platform, please welcome Steve and Aji.
Thank you. Thank you. Aji and I are so excited to introduce the newest member of the Atlassian family, Stride. Stride is built... We're pretty excited, too. You can clap. That's fine. Stride's built on Atlassian's 15-year history of unleashing the potential in every team, helping your team get work done faster and easier. It's a bold step forward for us in team communication, and we're really excited to share it with you. Let's get straight into it with a quick video that shows you what Stride's all about.
Talk won't fix this traffic jam. Sorry, traffic. Nope, can't fix that either. Because talk is cheap. It doesn't help your team get stuff done. In fact, it gets in the way of getting stuff done. Talk won't put someone in space or get your product shipped. Double talk, small talk. It's all just talk. It can't do anything. But what if talk was more than just talk? Remember that traffic? What if talk could fix that traffic? What if talk led to meetings being called?
Looks like the traffic light on 3rd is out.
And actions being taken.
Hey, it's almost fixed, but it's going to keep happening.
What if talk led to team decisions? And those decisions led to getting things done? Well, now it can. Looking good, Traffic. Introducing a completely new way for teams to talk, meet, decide, and do. Stride. Now talk can do.
All right.
Steve and I are really psyched about Stride, and we could talk your ear off about it all day long. But the video says talk is cheap, so we're not going to do that. Let's try to get to the good stuff really quickly. With Stride, 3 big ideas come together seamlessly for the first time. The first is beautiful human messaging. The second is meetings, a fully integrated cross-platform meeting experience. The third is built-in collaboration tools that help move work forward. Actions and decisions are built right into conversation. Let's dive into a little bit more detail on these things. We have 8 years of experience with real-time messaging. With Stride, we stacked the deck and we built truly awesome team messaging. We have features for really great chat, like a rich text editor, the same powerful editor we use in Confluence, Bitbucket, and Jira. We have support for Markdown for developers. We allow you to be human at work with standard and custom emoji, expressive status, and presence. We have really fast search. We have excellent support for rich media, files, and links. We even have a cloud picker that helps you fetch files from where they really are. You have image annotation. This helps you be expressive and get your ideas to your team. There's so much more here. We've added over 100 new features and improvements to Stride. You gotta trust me when I say we've built truly awesome team messaging. Message delivery and notifications are fast, always accurate, and up to date. Never miss another message, no matter where you are or what device you are using. By the way, let's talk about devices. Stride is supported on the web, on Windows, on a Mac, iOS, Android, and even Linux. Your team immediately benefits from clear, expressive, effective human communications.
Now, the messaging parts of Stride are awesome, and we use Stride to build the Stride product every day. But that's just one of the pillars. So let's talk for a minute about meetings. Talking face-to-face is essential. There's no substitute for nonverbal communication. The glances, the gestures, the laughs, it's part of what makes us human at work. So you know when you want to talk to somebody face-to-face, you just walk down the hall and ask them a question, right? Unfortunately, that's not the way the workplace works anymore. For most times, people wind up using video, and video meetings are often frustrating. It's a little bit clunky sometimes to get your team connected on video. You share the meeting ID, you hope they get it, you have that awkward few minutes at the beginning of each meeting going, are they joining? Are they not? Should we wait? Should we go? You don't really know what's happening on that meeting. In that first 5 minutes, you waste over and over during your work week, and that adds up over time. The product that's supposed to be bringing your team together is actually making it harder for your team to communicate. So we tackled that problem inside Stride as well by building native integrated meetings across the entire platform. As you can see here, from a room, from a one-to-one or ad hoc, you can quickly connect with your team. Built in, no additional software, no codes to exchange, one click, and you're talking in high definition, beautiful video across web, desktop, and mobile. Now, not everybody starts from chat. Most people still start from their calendars, just like me. So we've got that covered as well. If you're starting your day from a calendar reminder, we've built meeting support into modern web-based calendars like Office 365 and Google Calendar that allow you to quickly join a meeting directly from your calendar. Some people might join from chat, others join from calendar. You all wind up in the same beautiful, high-definition video experience across any platform. And from within, then, you can use the built-in remote desktop control, screen sharing, dial-in, dial-out functionality that really make it a comprehensive meeting experience no matter how your team gets together. Now let's take a second and talk about Trello. Trello brings your team together in a beautiful way. We use it extensively in the Stride team today. Especially for remote workers, if you're not in the same place, this is the great way to get on the same page, literally on the same page, with a shared perspective that everybody can see. But if you happen to be remote, you often wind up toggling back and forth between the shared perspective and the video system, and you might miss something. And that context switching is frustrating and wastes time as well. So we've solved that problem as well. We're announcing today embedded Stride meetings for Trello. Stride meetings in Trello bring faces and audio directly to your board. So you can stay on the board, move things around as we've shown, but see your team and hear the discussion as you're making those changes, all without any context switching in the same place. Team members who are all not looking at the board benefit from the rest of the Stride applications by joining via the rest of the Stride apps. So you can join via mobile, desktop, and web, and join into the same meeting from the same place. And if you happen to be using the mobile meeting experience, you have a great Trello mobile app to call out there too. So you can switch back and forth between meetings and the application if you need to. So no matter how you're joining, you can share content in the Trello board as well. So in summary, we have built truly kick-ass meetings. It's just one of the pillars of Stride, but fully integrated meetings across all the different ways your teams get together. What you'll see, though, as you start to use the product is that we brought meetings and messaging together in a really interesting and amazing way. When I'm meeting with somebody, I can see their presence. I can see their status. I can invite them via messaging. I can invite a room. I can invite multiple rooms. The same way you normally do messaging, you immediately can connect with your team via meetings as well. It's really amazing. Now, part of what makes it amazing is that we built this from the ground up. You can't do this by bolting together different solutions. It truly is a brand new solution that covers this entire problem as one space and solves for the one thing. And we're really proud of it. We hope you like it.
I've been using this for months, and when Steve talks about it, I still get pumped. Well, you don't want to just talk. You want to get things done. Actually, you want to get work done. Remember, talk is cheap. Steen and Anu introduced the Atlassian Teamwork Platform, which is designed to move work forward in context. Well, Stride is built on the same Atlassian Teamwork Platform. And we brought it just for you to do collaboration tools. Let's talk about a couple of those elements that power Stride. Those elements are actions and decisions. They can really help transform conversation into a way to accomplish work. We already know that you take action and make decisions in chat, but it's all just text. It can be hard to move work forward quickly when you have to scroll through everything and read every single thing. With Stride, you can quickly and easily annotate messages as an action or a decision. These meanings give what you type superpowers. The first way is we give them rich, distinct visual meanings so you can scan for them inside a conversation. We also make them active. You can check off an action, and everyone gets notified. Third, we elevate these actions and decisions on the sidebar, so it's really easy to catch up on what you missed that's most important. We also let you go from the sidebar in an action and decision deep into message history so you can see the context where an action or decision was taken. We want to make messaging work for you, not the other way around. Trust your communication tool to help you capture what's most important. Get more done with Stride. Now,
it can be hard in the modern work world to actually find time to get your own work done. following up on those actions, reading the decisions, diagnosing that one pesky bug, finishing the design that you just need time to write down, finding a way to carve out space to mute the noise and get your own work done to get in the flow is something we heard from so many customers when we were designing and researching Stride. So that's why today we're very proud to introduce Focus Mode to Stride. Focus Mode is our way to give you the mental space to get time done in the day. When your team messages you, they're immediately warned, not just do not disturb, but here's what I'm working on, and here's how much time I need to complete that task. And when you're ready to start work yourself, it's straightforward to go, connect into the presence control here, and actually share what you're working on with your team. In this case, it's kind of a great cross-product example. You can share the Jira ticket, and as that resolves, your team has access to the exact ticket you're working on. So if there's something that's blocking that or it's been updated in priority, your team knows and can work with you instead of muting the whole world and saying, leave me alone while I finish something. In that example, we've got 2 hours to work on something. When you're ready to come back, what we thought about was, man, it would be a lot worse if it takes more effort to come back from do not disturb or from focus than it does to take focus. So we solved the next problem too, which is catching up from while you were away. When you're done coming from focus mode, you come back out into the world, and you've got a nice, beautiful summary here that shows you what happened in messaging while you were away. The actions, the tasks, the meetings, the chat history that Ajay just mentioned, all those things are summarized in a really compact and beautiful way that lets you catch up on what happened on your team without reading every single message every time. Now, I'm personally based in Austin, Texas, about halfway around the world from a lot of the folks who presented here today. And this is even more interesting when your team's workday actually spans the whole day. It's really hard to carve out focus time when a lot of the folks you're working with are completely on the other side of the planet. So this is actually one of my personal favorites in the product, and I really hope you like it as well.
Are you excited? I know I'm excited, and I know the developers amongst you have a question in your mind. Well, let me end the suspense. Extensibility is a key hallmark of Atlassian's DNA. That means that with Stride, we've built simply the most powerful API we've ever built. It's built on the proven Atlassian Connect framework, which is one of the most successful and largest enterprise software ecosystems in the world. Webhooks, bots, a built-in marketplace, an app discovery framework, support for one-on-one conversation with bots, excellent documentation. It's all there. Out of the gate, we have all new app integrations for Atlassian cloud platforms. We're going to be shipping the server app integrations really soon. Here are some really popular internet applications that are available now or coming soon for Stride, with many, many more coming.
So that's Stride. This has been a huge effort for us, but more importantly, a comprehensive product that we're bringing to market. Every aspect that we've shown you here has been thoughtful and brought to market in a really exciting way. We exist to unleash the potential in every team, and this is just a giant step forward for us and for you to do that. We believe that communication is essential for any team of any size, and we want all of your team to have all of the power of Stride. That's why we've really packed the free tier with all the good stuff. Unlimited rooms, unlimited one-to-ones, group audio, group video across all platforms, the brand new API that Ajay just mentioned, and for an unlimited number of users for free. That's right, it's pretty amazing. We also have a paid version that starts at just $3 per user per month that introduces some of the advanced meeting functionality, such as dial-in, dial-out, screen sharing, and remote desktop control. For those of you that are thinking enterprise, if you heard Identity Manager earlier in the day, we are Identity Manager ready on day one. So SSO, SAML, and forced two-factor authentication, and all the other features of Identity Manager are supported on Stride out of the gate. For a company like Atlassian, with thousands of employees, 10 offices, 5 continents, hundreds of remote workers, we've been running Atlassian on Stride for months, and we're ready to run your business as well. Stride's in early access today. Go to stride.com and learn more, or find anybody at the Stride booth back here at the talk. These folks are literally dying to talk to you. They've been waiting for quite a while to share the progress here. I couldn't be more excited to share it with you. This has been a worldwide effort from Atlassian. Our team has come together to bring this together for you. We're really excited to hear what you think, so please try it out and let us know. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen Odgie. I hope they're not literally dying for the next 48 hours, just in case you want to talk to them. So today we've shared a huge amount of exciting news. It has been a really, really amazing year, and I couldn't be more pumped about the year we have ahead of us. Before you run out, a few quick announcements that I have to make. First, you've heard about the amazing things that Be The Match is doing. Just a quick reminder that if you want to join their registry, you can, right outside. It takes a very quick cheek swab, totally painless, and you can join the registry and you might save someone's life. It's a great cause. Second, tonight, have fun at Bash. 2 quick public service announcements. First, don't forget your badge. If you forget your badge, you'll be left outside. You can talk to Scott about how much time he spent on the pavement last year. You think that's a joke. And second, don't forget to wear your LED bracelet to get amongst the fun. I haven't been told exactly what's happening, but I'm told that you'll all want to be part of it, so wear that. Third, tomorrow morning, you will hear from our president, Jay, about the latest evolutions of our team playbook and how we're sharing our practices around teams and work and our culture. And then that will be followed by a sit-down Q&A with Scott and myself. If you want to ask any questions of Scott and myself, Atlassian.com/ask, or you can drop by the community booth on the show floor and ask a video question or a quarter of you. You have to do both of those things by 5 p.m. today. And we'll answer as many of your questions as we can tomorrow about anything from culture to products to Atlassian to whatever you want to ask. And lastly, but definitely not leastly, I want to thank everybody that got up here on stage today. We've packed in a huge amount of people. I hope you've seen a lot of our culture up on stage. Those 15 people stand at the head of a huge number of people behind them that have done a ton of amazing work to bring all these things to you. To their wives, their husbands, their partners, everyone behind that team, thank you for all of the Atlassians that work hard every day to bring you all of these amazing products. Yeah, give them a round of applause. Thank you. But most importantly, this wouldn't be possible without all of you. For Scott, myself, and all of the Atlassian team, thanks for being on the journey with us, and thank you for trusting us to be a part of your team. It's truly appreciated, and we work hard to improve that every day. Thank you, and have a great summit.